Hello and welcome back to another episode of Time to Ramble. Today, I'm going to ramble about sleep. Sleep, do you need it? Yes. Yes, sleep is great. In my own personal experience, sleep between 8 and 10 hours, honestly. I can survive on like 6. It's like my minimum functional level. 4 hours starts to get pretty groggy, pretty foggy. That you need a nap for sure. But 6 hours with like caffeine, you can make it work. Sometimes it's what you got to do, but especially if I'm doing like a heavy lifting day, I got to do 10 plus hours. Honestly, it's a bit rough. But if you want to wake up and feel like half decent, it's like all right, 10 hours. But I honestly hate having to give the time to sleep. Sometimes especially when like you're stimulated when you've got stuff to do, as opposed to like say you don't have the internet, say you don't have like friends or anything like that, and you're just kind of sitting there reading books or like making stuff, and you're like, all right, it's late, I'm tired, time to go to bed. That works. I've done that sort of thing before, where you're just not on the computer, you're not playing games for like the 4 hours before you're supposed to go to bed, and you kind of just get to a point where like, all right, I'm bored, it's time to go to bed. But I don't think I think it's a great idea to give yourself less than like 8 hours of sleep consistently. I think everybody's a little different, but I think the 8 hour rule is pretty good. I had a friend back in high school who tried to sleep as little as possible, like 2 4 hours a night at most, if any. You'd sleep like almost all the way through school, but it didn't work out so well for him. He was always so tired, falling asleep in class. I think he was really distracted by it. Um, I understand the sentiment of not wanting to sleep, but like it's something you have to do. Uh, there's I think a lot to go more on the science part of it. Basically, sleep is what helps clean your brain, helps your body kind of reset, and kind of finishes whatever kind of repairs need to be made through like any of the stress of the day. But the mental component is, in my opinion, the best part of sleep, because you'll wake up and you're like, I feel great. I feel like I'm ready to rock and roll. You know, after about an hour of being horribly tired when you wake up. But um, yeah, caffeine will be another day. But I think yeah, for sleep, 8 10 hours. If you're working out or have a really like tough day, probably try to give yourself 10 hours if you can. 6 at least. 6 at least. I'm sure you guys have your own thoughts on sleep, but I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, that's all for today. I hope you have a good